Thank you guys so much. I'm extremely honored to be representing the dental school today. I'm just one of many on that pie graph there, and so I'm extremely honored to be representing the dental school. My path to dentistry has been somewhat non-traditional in the sense that I didn't immediately come to dental school right out of undergrad. For me, I didn't know that I wanted to pursue a career in dentistry until much later on. But it definitely started out very, very young. When I was little, I was extremely curious, and I loved to create things. I always asked for chemistry sets, and like every good kid, I would throw out the instructions for the chemistry set, and I would make my own concoctions. I would mix everything together, and sometimes it would work, and sometimes it wouldn't. And when it did work, that was extremely very rewarding for me, even though it was very disappointing for my parents because I made huge messes in the kitchen. But those rewarding moments stuck with me, and so so with that in mind, I sort of pursued a degree at Texas Tech University out in Lubbock, Texas. I studied cell and molecular biology. And then towards the end of my undergraduate career, I started to realize that a bachelor's degree was just not going to be enough for me. I wanted to learn more. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I started to explore all sorts of careers. I shadowed lawyers, I talked to doctors, I talked to nurses, I talked to PTs. I really wanted to expose myself to everything. And so when I was doing that, I also applied for a master's program at Texas Tech and started working on that while I was trying to explore these different career opportunities. And really early on in my graduate career, I was at an event very similar to one like this. This is why these types of events are very, very important. I was at an event and I was talking to a colleague in the chemical engineering department, and I started to realize that my research actually could benefit his research. He was doing research in the field of droplet microfluidics, which is basically instead of like microchips where electrons are traveling back and forth, in droplet microfluidics, it's microscopic droplets of pharmaceutical drugs or chemicals going back and forth on a network, on a little chip. And so what we found was that we could create a device that screened for genetic disorders or cancer directly in the doctor's office, all on something the size of an SD card. So it was pretty interesting, so we decided to file a patent for it, and with the help of the university, we filed a patent, and we decided to apply for a grant to see if we can get some funding to start working on this device. And to our surprise, we got a grant. Turns out the National Science Foundation has grant funding specifically to fund opportunities that have extremely high potential, but also extremely high risk of failure. So that was us. So we took that $250,000 and ran with it. So I got to learn very quickly what it was like to spend $250,000. Within a year, that was gone. And you know, it sounds like a lot, but at the time, it really just went by really fast. You know, $250,000 in the budget of something that pharmaceutical companies do research on, I mean, that's just a drop in the bucket for them. So we spent that money very quickly, got almost done, and we realized we needed more funding. And so me and my friends, we sat around and we figured out what we were going to do, and we applied for an accelerator program. And we got into the accelerator program, and because of that, we had to form very quickly a small company. And so I became a CEO of a 5-person company that had no money. So, you know, before we knew it, we were strategizing, finding path to market, calling competitors. I remember calling some of our competitors and acting like I was a customer and asking how they priced their product, how they sold their product, what it could do, what it couldn't do. And we, with the help of local business leaders and the accelerator program, we developed a path to market and a business plan. And before we know it, we were pitching our company and our product to investors. And in all this time, I'm also exploring still these different careers, and I'm keeping things open. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life, but I'm kind of just going with this crazy ride. And So we were pitching to investors, and sure enough, a couple of investors were interested and wanted to give us exactly what we wanted. They wanted to give us another $250,000 for about 25% of our company. So if I had signed the documents, I would have been a CEO of $1 million company. And that was a big wake-up call for me because things got really real very fast. The documents they sent over, it was like a textbook of documents. I didn't even understand half the words in there. I'm a science geek, not a business person. So right around this time when we were contemplating the different terms of our deal, I got accepted to dental school. And I was sort of at a fork in the road, and I had to make a really important decision. And as I was looking over these terms, I started to realize that I had lost sight of what I wanted to do. I had lost sight of that 7-year-old me that was creating things and pursuing things in science. And that's what we were initially doing. We followed our research, we built a product, we created something, but by accepting this deal, it was going to essentially make me an employee of this investor, an employee for a company that I created, and essentially become a salesman and no longer take part in the strategy and the development of this product. And so I sought, the advice of lots of mentors, and they reminded me that, hey, I don't think you're doing what you like to do anymore. And so, sort of realizing that, I accepted the invitation from the dental school, and I have never looked back since. What I love about dental school is that we are constantly creating. In the first year, we are taking our medical classes, and at the same time, we're also learning about how to build little wax teeth. And we're being graded on how these teeth look and if they fit in the bite. And so we're really proud of these little tiny, like 10-millimeter structures that we've created. And then in second year, we move on and we learn how teeth look. Once we know what teeth look like, we then learn how to cut them down and to remove decay and to create rooms for crowns and things like that. And we start practicing our hand skills that way, and we start creating dentures. We start creating removable partial dentures and complete dentures. And so, we're creating there, and then in the clinic, we're creating smiles. We're creating healthy mouths, and we're really finding something that can make a long-lasting impact for our patients. And it's really rewarding to be a part of that. And so if I have any advice for any of y'all today is to not lose sight of your passion, and not to lose sight of what initially got you started in your career. Thank you very much.